my lovelies. Today I just wanted to wish you a Merry Christmas in advance. By the time this video is uploaded, it will be uploaded by Friday, December 25th. So I'm hoping you've had a blessed holiday, blessed Christmas, Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate, and that the new year 2021 will be a lot better than the year we've had here in 2020. Let's try and put 2020 behind us and look forward to the future in 2021, having a much better year than the one we've had in 2020, which honestly hasn't been so ideal, as we all know. And hopefully you can set some goals and the economy and everything else will pick up in 2021. So keep your fingers crossed and hopefully our prayers will be answered. Hello my lovelies, I'm sharing this video to educate you on bullying and the fact that when I was a child I moved around a lot and I went to 5 elementary schools and 3 high schools. So it made it very challenging for me to make friends growing up. I was very alone a lot. As a kid, I wore glasses. I wore these since I was like 8 years old, and so I got made fun of a lot because I didn't have straight hair like everybody else, and I wore glasses at a young age, and I had bad acne, and I just moved around a whole ton, so people didn't really want to get to know me because they were in their own cliques. And by the time I got to high school, people were not very welcoming because I moved to a new high school in the middle of grade 9, or freshman year as they call it in the States. So it made it very challenging for me, and then I went to boarding school in the United States when I was 16. So that made it even more difficult for me to make friends. So I just wanted to educate this video for you guys to understand whether you're still in high school, primary school, elementary school, wherever you go to school. I just wanted to educate you on the effects of bullying and what it does to people, and that we should all be kind to one another because you never know if somebody is the new kid. And it's very difficult when you're constantly the new kid your entire childhood. And it doesn't make it any different when you go to college either. I was made fun of in college. I had a bad roommate, and that's another story. But thank you for watching, and please share this video to educate people on bullying and what that is like. I just wanted to share some stories today all about being the new kid, and if you have had a childhood where you moved around a lot or you went to different schools and stuff, I'm sure you can relate to this video, or even if you moved around a lot as an adult. I just wanted to share some stories about my childhood and moving around and stuff, and being the new kid. So I've lived in Ontario all the way from Belleville, Ontario, between Oakville, Ontario. I've lived in between almost every single place except for a couple of cities. Between Oakville all the way to Belleville, the 2 villas. I've been around a lot of places. So, when you moved around a lot and you're always a new kid, it definitely makes you a lot more vulnerable to bullying. I mean, everybody gets bullied, I'm sure, at least one point in their lives. A lot of the time it's because kids come from bad homes, they have a rough time. They take it out on other kids. Don't even take it personally. I mean, when I was a kid, I was really sensitive. I'm not gonna lie. Kids are so mean. I just remember I have a lot of memories where in grade 3, it didn't really start until grade 2. I'm gonna be honest. Every time I move to school, though, someone would always say, I miss you. I didn't get to know you. How are you doing? Well, in the new town. How are you doing? We all stay connected on Facebook. The people that I decided to stay connected with, I still have them on Facebook to this day. But, yeah, it started in kindergarten. Went to school out in Oshawa. First of all, so we don't get confused, I was born in Ajax, and I lived in Pickering as a baby, and then I moved to Whitby. So if you want to start at the beginning, we'll start in Whitby. I went to daycare in Whitby. My mom was raising me as a single mom, and, yeah, daycare was fine. Daycare was good. We're 3 years old. I just take a nap in the cot. Everything was good. They really wanted, my mom really tried her best. She paid for that. It was private. My mom worked really hard doing that for me, since I guess I was blessed that I was an only child in that regard, even though sometimes to this day I still wish I had siblings. But honestly, the bullying didn't start until grade 2. That's where I'm probably going to say it started. Kindergarten was relatively easy. I was pretty shy as a kid. I was really quiet. My mom told me up until maybe 5 or 6. Apparently that's when I got a lot louder and more noisy. I like to think of myself as a fairly outgoing individual to this day, although sometimes I like to be introverted. I like to have space and take a break from people, because we all need time for ourselves, let's face it. But all I have is these memories from grade 2. Some boy in grade 2 threw my scarf over the fence. That wasn't a big deal. I had to get my dad involved there. He just, he told the principal, and I think the kid was suspended. You know, boys like to tease girls when you're little kids, you know, it's not a big deal. But honestly, it really started getting bad, I'm gonna say, around grade 3. Grade 2, grade 3, the constant moving. It wasn't really my mom's fault entirely. It was just the circumstances at the time. She switched jobs and stuff, and there was a bit of chaos growing up, I'm not gonna lie. It was pretty chaotic, moving around a lot. You switch postal codes. You could basically say that my life was like the perfect man. You know, Hillary Duff, although she like moved around a lot as a teenager, so that was a little bit different. But her mom moved her around. Every time there was a problem, they'd move. Like running away from your problems. Every time there's a problem, you move. So that was kind of like what my mom did in some way to get away from her problems. But honestly, it started around grade 3. People were really nice. The teacher said, let's welcome Emily. She's new in grade 2. I just had memories and of some of these girls. Like, I always made friends with the kids that were in the grade below me, because it was a split class. It was grade 1 and 2. And by this time, so we don't get confused, I was in Coburg, Ontario. I would move from a school in Pickering to Coburg, Ontario. So Coburg, you know, a very small town. My mom moved out east for a reason, which I won't get into. Maybe I'll explain that in another video. But yeah, grade 3, the girls started turning against me. Girls are mean. You know, we all know girls are very mean. Girls, even when they're young and they're not on their periods, which I really don't like talking about because I'm a fairly private person when it comes to stuff like that. But girls are incredibly mean. I mean, you know, Hillary, what was her name? Oh yes, one of my friends, I won't mention her name, but she ended up, she was a really good friend of mine and stuff, and there was some misunderstanding. I think, like, I took her diary or something, or she had a crush on a boy, and I told someone about a boy or something. But, yeah, that wasn't so bad, but I remember being really sensitive and being really upset and asking my mom, can you please take me out of the school? I just have some vague memories. Boys, you know, they call me a jackass. You start using that language around grade 3, it gets pretty bad. Kids should not be using that kind of language, but I guess as kids, you hear that language on TV and you pick it up from the movies or video games or your parents, right? Swearing is swearing, it is what it is. But anyhow, so that was just grade 3. I think my makeup was taken from me, I can't quite remember, and I had to ask the parents of one of my friends to give it back. I think of the girls that were friends with me in grade 2, they turned against me in grade 3. We had some big fight, I can't remember, and they were like grabbing me and stuff. And girls, you don't think girls would get physical, but girls can be violent. You'd be really surprised what girls are capable of. I mean, men can get violent too, but at least men do say it to your face for the most part, and they don't gossip behind your back, I would think. Although I've had some recent experiences with some guys here in Toronto that have done that to me, and I always find out about it. But anyway, so girls, I invited, we'll call her Hillary, whatever, we'll call her Hillary. She invited me to my birthday party, her birthday party, and then she just turned against me. I can't remember why. And then we were friends again. It was really, really weird. And then starting grade 6, no, grade 4, grade 5, and I was really good at running. I love cross country. I had some pretty good memories of grade 4 and grade 5. But starting in grade 6, that's when it got bad. I'm going to say grade 6 was the worst time. I'm going to say it's from age 10 onwards. That's when it got real bad. One of the girls in grade 6, she befriended me. And then there's another guy, I won't say his name, let's just call him Jeffrey. We'll call him Jeffrey. So he's just like, oh, who are you? He's like so rude. He's like, who are you? And I'm like, oh, I'm Emily. He's like, oh, what are you doing here? Like, we don't know you. We grew up in elementary school together. What the hell are you doing here? And I'm like, I was so timid. I didn't even know what to say. I just said, Emily. He's like, oh, your name's Emily? Emily what? I'm like, see? He's like, what? Don't you have a last name? And I'm like, Carpenter. He's like, oh, okay.
And he was real mean. He had some anger issues, man. I think he's still on my Facebook friends to this day, and we don't talk on Facebook. That's the funny thing. We're all adults now. We don't have to talk about things when we were kids. But yeah, he could be real vindictive. And I remember I was made fun of because I liked the Olsen twins in grade 6, and they didn't like my hair. I was called Puff Daddy in grade 6 because I had this frizzy hair that no other girl in the class had. So in other words, I stood out. You know, I was this tall, skinny, awkward girl. And then one of the girls in grade 6, she saw my picture from the class photo, and she's like, oh, yeah. She's like, you're really pretty. She's like, all the boys must like you. And I'm like, yeah, well, you know, it's kind of young to date in grade 6. You're only 11. I didn't say that to her, but I just said, thank you. It's kind of like Mean Girls, right? That's why Mean Girls is so popular to this day, because so many people can relate to it. When you say, Regina George's like, oh, you're really pretty. I like your bracelet. Where'd you get it? And then behind the back, that is the ugliest effing skirt that I've ever seen. So, yeah, it was really grade 6 where it started getting bad. This guy, Jeffrey, he ganged up on me once from grade 6. He just ganged up on me with a couple of friends, started coming at me. I was about to cry, and then one of my friends who got kicked out of the popular group, her and I befriended each other at the end of grade 6 because we ended up having no friends. All the girls in the class turned against us. I still have her on Facebook. We'll just call her Jessica. She just said to me, oh, you know, let's be friends because I'm going through a hard time, and my parents are divorced too, and she had a younger brother. I'm an only child, and yeah, we were the exact same age. Her birthday was like a month before mine, and we had a few things in common. And yeah, she's a really pretty girl, you know, and girls didn't like her because of it, and she ended up not being popular anymore. She told me what was actually happening with the popular girls. Like, she told me about their home life and stuff, and I didn't want to gossip. I kept it to myself, and I just said to myself, well, this is why they're acting mean. This is why they're acting mean. Now I have some empathy because I understand what they're going through at home. My home life wasn't perfect. I'm not going to get into all the details, but look, you know, divorced parents, moving around a lot, it's not a perfect home life. No one's family is perfect. And she told me one of the girls that was popular, apparently, we'll just call her Alyssa. Apparently she ended up, she was raised by her grandmother. There was smoking in the apartment in Coburg. She didn't have I don't think her father was around. And she had a younger sister who was in foster care. And I didn't even know this about her, right? Like, she was so mean, and I'm just like, why is she mean? And she made friends with the two other popular girls. The other popular girl, I didn't know too much about her. We'll just call her Rachel, not her real name, but I never really got to know her very well. I called them the Car Clique, because their names began with C-A-R. We'll just call them, let's come up with a name here. Alyssa, Rachel, and Carly. So Carly, Alyssa, and Rachel. Again, not the real names. Car Clique. And it's really funny because I think they had some respect for me. Like, they would come up to me one-on-one and they're like, oh, you like Hillary Duff? And I'm like, yeah, I love Hillary Duff, you know? And let's be friends kind of thing. So one-on-one, when they were talking to me, they would move desks together in grade 6. And I would sit beside them and they'd be nice to me. They'd be like, oh, you like Hillary Duff? Yeah, I went to one of her concerts. And I'm like, yeah, sure. Okay, let's be friends. So cool. She's being nice to me when she's not with her friends. But when she's with her friends, she's trying to look good in front of her friends, so she'll gang up on me when she's with her friends. But one-on-one, they were always nice to me. It was really weird. And then, yeah, and then Carly, yeah, not her real name. The only other good thing that she said about me, if I raised my hand for a math class question, everyone thought I sucked at math. I call math mental abuse to human beings. I hate math to this day. I will never like it. Unless I have to do something with arithmetic or finances or counting my change, I will never do math. I always got C's and B's. If I was lucky, a B- in math. I never got A's in it. And then my grades started slipping to D's in grade 6. My parents were going through a divorce that year. 2 grandfathers died in 1 year. And I went to a brand new school in Coburg. So again, not a good year. And being the new kid on top of all that, my grades went from A's and B's to C's and D's. But yeah, so getting to the point. So Carly, you know, she was real nice with me one-on-one. And then when I got into the talent show in grade 6, everybody suddenly became nice again. Oh, let's be her friend. You know, she seems to be able to sing. And then like, all of a sudden everyone would not be turned against me. They'd be nice to me again. And girl who I was friends with, her name's Emily. Same name as me. I shouldn't be, yeah, same name as me. She my name's a very popular name, so there's always another girl in the class who had the same name as me, interestingly enough. But yeah, she just said to me, oh, you did a really good job with the talent show, and suddenly it's like we're friends again. Okay, do you want to be friends with me because you think I have something going for me or something? And her and I were friends at the beginning of grade 6 because all her friends turned against her. She's like, I don't know anyone, I don't have friends, do you want to come over to my house? So she invited me over to her house right away in Coburg. But getting to the point, grade 6 was not good. I was pretty depressed about grade 6. Even though I was new, I was still invited to the Halloween party in Coburg. Carly's grandparents had a big house somewhere in Coburg where they had her grandparents, and I thought she was rich. But apparently she lived with her grandparents, and I don't really think her parents were around. And I didn't even know that until Jessica told me this. So, it's when you go through bullying, you just got to realize that it's probably not you. Maybe it is you, but it's either jealousy, they're insecure with their lives, they're going through stuff at home, so they're lashing out at you. So kids, if you're watching this, if you're 12 and under, even if you're an adult and you're still being bullied, bullying lasts your entire life. It doesn't go away when you become an adult. It really doesn't. Kids become kids, and they become teenagers, and they become adults, and depending on the person as an adult, depending on how you handle it, there's bullies everywhere. So I tried to keep this video short. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for the 318 subscribers. I'm going to talk about a lot more bullying stories that I have from grade 7 onwards to high school. And yeah, we'll talk. And I think I still have most of these people on Facebook. I'm not holding a grudge. They don't talk to me anymore. I'll still have them. It's a connection down the road. And they probably don't remember some of the things that I remember. I'm blessed with a good long-term memory. There's some things that really stick in my brain, and I want to tell videos about them before I forget. So again, thank you so much for watching. Like this video, please subscribe and share. If you don't like it, thumbs up, thumbs down, whichever. And I will be uploading videos every single Sunday for consistency. Thank you so much for watching. And please stay tuned, as I will be sharing more videos on bullying and the devastating effects. Some people are bullied so badly, like Amanda Todd, they end up harming themselves. It's really not funny. So thanks so much for watching, and stay tuned for next week's video.